whether they went to war or not, veterans have a greater risk of dying from ALS than if they'd never raised their right hand and swore to defend the Constitution of the United States. Tonight, you'll meet Richard Schott and find out why Lou Gehrig's disease is now becoming known as the warrior disease.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
A year after the Yankee slugger contracted a disease that would take his name and his life, a youngster with aspirations of being a sailor was born. The boy from America's heartland couldn't have known that Lou Gehrig's disease would stalk him, catch him, and debilitate him, all because he followed his dreams into the Navy and onto the open seas.
We patrol off the Mekong Delta.
During the build-up to the Vietnam War, Richard Schott was stationed aboard the USS Hull.
And we were condition 3 almost all the time when we were in that area.
Richard's ship dodged the fury of MiGs and 3 Westpacks. He lived, but his service to our country would last decades past his enlistment, past his civilian retirement, through a 25-year marriage and a happy, active life. One lived in God's glory, his faith now sustaining his spirit as his body fails him.
I'm real strong in my faith, and so I think the strength has to come with that personal relationship that I have.
Richard was diagnosed with ALS just as the Ice Bucket Challenge became the hottest thing on the web this summer.
Lift that toe up like that. Hold the toe up.
Early in the diagnosis, Richard's strength at 73 was amazing, but that would change.
As I talked about, symptoms will start in one part of the body, but at some time or another, they'll spread, so it'll involve all the limbs.
Richard found out the disease would eventually affect speech, breathing, everything. And the most shocking news of all, this is somehow tied to his Navy days. He and all vets are twice as likely as anyone else to contract the deadly disease. Studies go back to Gehrig's days.
Particularly since World War II, that a larger percentage of the people that have gotten it are veterans.
So many veterans afflicted that even the VA is paying attention. In a rare and proactive move, the department has labeled any veteran with ALS permanently and totally disabled, calling it a presumptively compensable illness, an admission that there's an undeniable link between ALS and military service.
So they get all their benefits immediately.
Kim Hughes is director of the ALS Association Arizona chapter. This storage closet full of hand-me-downs, mostly from vets who have died from ALS.
Splints, more belts.
VA coverage started in 2008. Today, it surpasses any other coverage. Vets are getting help to extend their quality of life.
Originally, when it started back then, you started off at a 30% service connection, and then now they automatically are at 100%.
At 100%, all medical is paid for. The vet is financially compensated, and housing benefits for people like Richard can begin.
Look at this thing he did, and there's a drive-in shower in the master bathroom.
3 months after we first met Richard, his muscles have begun their mutiny. His new walker is his latest vessel. Next will be a wheelchair, which will need a wider berth through this hallway.
And so it's now in my hands, and I can't button my shirts.
The only thing the VA can't do, nor can any medical expert fully answer, is why vets.
They can't tell you why, but they identify common denominators.
Kim is Richard's wife and his nurse. She's done nothing but study the disease since diagnosis. Exposure to chemicals and toxins, continual physical stress, and exposure to smoking, all thought to be causes. But her job isn't to know why. It's simply to love him.
It's the hardest thing to see him hurt.
The nature of this disease is slow deterioration. Research ongoing to find a way to stop its course towards a frozen death. Many of its victims, resolute veterans who, in their golden years, are making the ultimate sacrifice for service to country. Now, Richard just hit a year since he first felt the first symptoms of this disease. The lifelong hiker says that what he misses most are those long walks and his independence. You can understand now.
And it's so slow, but you know where you're going to wind up.
You know what's coming.
That's the horrible thing. I lost a good friend to it. Well, this Veterans Day, as we honor our men and women who have and continue to protect our freedom, we've asked for you to share pictures of your loved ones with us using the hashtag #MyVeteran.